and murdered by an officer. So, as well as a police bill that would curb the rights to peaceful protests. So what's making the government double down on protests in a country not known for mass disorder?
Well, first of all, I'd like to offer my sympathy to the police officers who were injured yesterday. Clearly it must have been a terrifying moment for them to have been in the line of fire. So my thoughts go out to them. But the reason for this police and crime bill is really in reaction to a widespread protest that happened in 2019 by a group called Extinction Rebellion. And it was protesting around climate, and it essentially shut off a large part of London, and the police grew quite frustrated about not being able to move those protesters on. So I think that's why the police and crime bill is here, and clearly there is opposition to it, but I don't think the scenes from last night do anything to bring the public on board with what these protesters are demonstrating about.
So now, as for Bristol itself, this was over a new bill that promises to curb the ability to protest. Most reports say the gathering in Bristol was peaceful. So with activists sitting down in front of a police station, but the later scenes of police arriving with batons and shields, that does show that there was an attempt to forcefully remove them. So is there going to be an investigation into what could have been done to allow the protest to continue peacefully?
Well, I'm sure there will be many investigations on the back of this, and ultimately, my understanding is there was around 3,000 people who were protesting peacefully, which indeed they are welcome to do so, albeit not with the current COVID-19 restrictions. But there was around 300 to 400 individuals who hijacked this protest or this demonstration and made it violent, and they were hell-bent on destruction and violence. And as I say, I don't think anyone is supporting what happened last night. All political parties in the UK have condemned the violence last night, and in reality there is a discussion to be had about this police and crime bill, but it's to be done in a sensible and civil way, not through taking to the streets and injuring police officers just doing their job.
Now, well, one thing, the bill has caused particular alarm from those concerned with how vague the wording is. I mean, an example means that the police can put a stop to protests deemed, quote, causing serious annoyance or serious unease. Aren't these vagaries obviously in danger of abuse in practical terms?
I think so. I do think there needs to be scrutiny on this bill. It's a human right to protest, and indeed, as you say, the UK is not a country that tends to stand in the way of that. And I do think there is a debate to be had around the powers this bill has, and as you mentioned earlier, the police are coming under some reputational damage at the moment due to their policing tactics, and this bill really reinforces that for a lot of people, a lot of members of the public. So there is a discussion to be had, and the vagaries need to be sort of scrutinised properly. But as I say, last night's actions don't help that cause one bit.
All right, now my last thing, I mean, if indeed the bill goes through and the protesters are proved right, so can we expect more rioting on the streets? I mean, after all, there is an inevitable alternative to peaceful protest, and that is violent protest.
I really hope not. These aren't scenes that anyone in the United Kingdom wants to be seeing. It isn't what the UK is all about, frankly, and it should be a civil discussion through the right channels, without violence and people taking to the street to injure those doing their job and to damage property in Bristol or anywhere else. So, I do hope that this bill is passed in a way that allows people to have their say, but to do so in a peaceful and respectable way.
The time to speak to us and enlightening us on this issue, a grave issue happening right now in the United Kingdom. We thank you for your time and hope to speak to you again sometime soon.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.